Hello everyone, my name is Shantan Moitro and welcome back to my channel Excel Guru. So in my earlier video I had talked about two numeric functions, one is the SUMIF and the other is the SUMIFs. And I hope after watching that video you had a very good idea about those two numeric functions. So if you have been closely observing my earlier videos, I have been using a dollar symbol in any of the function that I have used in my earlier videos or any operation that I did in Excel in my earlier videos. So what was that dollar function? So today we will be talking about the dollar function. So the dollar function is what we call in Excel is cell referencing. So what is this cell referencing? Cell referencing, the definition says that it is that phenomenon in Excel where we completely or partially lock or freeze a cell and derive our values based on that locked cell, right? And we use this dollar symbol to lock that cell. Now, the cell referencing is mainly of three types. The first is the absolute referencing, where we completely lock that cell. For example, if we want to lock this A1 cell here, then we will use the dollar sign both in front of A and 1. So that will completely lock that cell A1. And the second type is the relative referencing. If we want to freeze any cell but partially, then for example if we want to freeze the column A or the row 1, then we will use the dollar symbol in front of A or 1 wherever the situation will demand. So that is partial referencing or relative referencing. And the third is the mixed referencing. It is similar to the partial referencing where we partially lock that cell by freezing either the column or the row, right? So let's understand with the help of an example. So here in this table you can see that I have some items or expenses here and I have the respective amounts spent. So here we want to calculate the total and we want to calculate the percentage of each individual expenditure with respect to the total amount spent. So here we will calculate the sum, and in my earlier video I had talked about the numerous ways of calculating the sum. So I will use the auto sum button here, and to calculate the sum I will press it and it will automatically calculate the sum for me. So here we have got 50,000 and now we will be deriving the percentage values and we will use the simple percentage formula that we have used in our childhood days. So 10,000 and we will lock the column because all our future figures or next figures are in the same column. We just need to change the rows. So that's why we have kept the rows open. This divided by 50,000 and we will completely lock the 50,000 because all our figures the denominator will be same and it will be 50,000. And if I hit enter we can see that we are getting 20%, and so we will drag the formula here and get to the values for the remaining figures, right? So this is a basic use of the cell referencing function. There is no advanced use of it, but let's do a bit complex use of the cell referencing function. So here we can see that I have loan amounts and rate of interest and time for which the loan has been taken, and we will be forming a loan table or an amortization schedule as the banking people say, with the help of cell referencing. So my opening capital is 50 lakhs and I will be calculating EMI, and we know that EMI is same all throughout. So we will be using the PMT function here to calculate the EMI. We could have used the normal compound interest formula, but if we are using Excel, we will use the dedicated function for calculating of EMI. So the first criteria of the PMT function is the rate, and this is my rate function, rate cell, and I will completely freeze it because it will be the same all throughout. Next comes the NPER. NPER stands for the time for which the loan has been given. So my time is here. So we will log this cell as well. The third is the present value, and my present value or the loan amount is here and it will log this cell. The second, last two conditions are optional because it's in third bracket, and we will close the cell and hit enter. So here we can see that I have loan amount is EMI is there, and I will flash fill it, and you can see that the figures are same. Now comes the interest factor. So the interest factor is calculated by multiplying the opening capital amount with the rate of interest. So here we will write is equal to this figure, and we will freeze the column because our subsequent figures will be in downward fashion. So we will freeze the column multiplied by the rate, and here we will completely lock the cell because the multiplier will be common for all the cases in column K, right? And if we hit enter, we can see that 1 lakh is the interest factor out of 1 lakh 2000. And now we will calculate the capital factor, and if we subtract the interest factor from the EMI figure, we will get our capital factor. So is equal to this figure plus, we will use a plus sign here because as this figure is in minus, so plus this, and we will reference the both the cells. So is equal to this cell, and we will lock the column because all our figures are in downward fashion, minus, or I will say plus because it's in minus figure. So plus this cell, we will again lock the column and hit enter. So here we can see that 2000 is a capital factor. So how will we calculate the closing capital? It's just the opening capital minus the capital factor. And now as this is in minus figure, so we will plus it or add it up. So this value, again we will lock the column, plus this value, again lock the column and hit enter. So this is our closing capital, and the closing capital for the first month will become the opening capital for the second month. So is equal to, this will be our opening capital, and again we will lock the column because this fashion or cycle will continue. Then hit enter. Right, now what we will do, we will just fill one column down just to check that whether our referencing is working correctly or not. We will press the Control D. Right, similarly we will do it for here also, Control D, and here also Control D. So yes, our referencing is working correctly. Now what we will do, we will select this entire row and fill it, but we won't flash fill it. We will double click here and drag the thing down to the end. So let's go down to the end and leave it. Right, so here we can see that the entire table has completed. And one thing you should remember, that at the end of the amortization schedule your closing capital will be zero, because we know that at the end of the tenure the loan payment always becomes zero, right? So this is all about cell referencing, and I hope you liked the video. So please press the like button, and if you don't like the video, please comment, because your comment helps me improve my content. Share the video if you like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to know more about Excel. Till then, see you in the next video.